This is the brewery area of Kyiv. At this point of time, you see this is an active combat zone. This is an active war zone. There is fight going on between the Russians and the Ukrainians here. A Ukrainian force has just destroyed some Russian tanks, and you can see some of these armored personnel carriers are coming this side. We are stopping here. We are trying to go ahead, but the situation here is extremely grim at this point of time. There is a twin-pronged attack that's happening on Kyiv even as we speak. One from Irpin and the second here from Brewery side. Here, certain tanks have been destroyed of the Russian army. It is being said that a Russian regimental commander has also been killed. The battle is intense. You can hear shelling in the backdrop here. Some of these forces are coming back. We are trying to get more details about the operations that are taking place. No vehicle is permitted beyond this point because there's shelling going on beyond this point here in Kyiv. But the twin-pronged attack on Kyiv now is extremely significant because the Russians are now closing in, with talks having failed between Ukraine and Russia in Turkey. The situation taking a turn for the worse virtually every second, by the second. With cameraman Pawan Kumar in Kyiv, Ukraine, Gaurav Sawant for India Today.
And in this live telecast, I'm now joined by our senior executive editor, Gaurav Sawant. Our foreign affairs editor, Geeta Mohan, will also be shortly joining us. Gaurav, you sent us that report. We could see the fighting that was on. But how important is this? Can you also help us understand geographically? Because Kyiv city is importantly the last target for Russia to really officially invade, so to say. What does the situation look like? And you're already telling us it's going to be -9 degrees in just a few hours there.
It's -4 at this point of time, Pooja, where we are standing. And in this sub-zero temperature, you have the Ukrainian army defending the outskirts of Kyiv. So there is a twin-pronged probe operations, and this is very typical tactics that's adopted by the Russians. It's said that what they do is they push the dagger in. If they find softness or mush, they keep pushing the dagger deeper. So they're just pushing and probing at different areas. Now there are two. This is a twin-pronged probe mission that's on currently. One at Brewery, which is the eastern flank, and the other is Irpin, which is the northeastern flank. On two flanks, there's fierce fighting that's being reported. The Ukrainian army told us that they destroyed 5 tanks of the Russian army, and that's actually a major loss. And they gave some details in terms of operations that are being undertaken. Now, this is the suburbs of Kyiv. We traveled about 2 hours from the heart of Kyiv to get here. And once we got there, and perhaps it's not so much the distance, but time, because of multiple checkpoints where you are checked and then cleared to go. Now, once you get there, it's actually like a ghost town. I mean, imagine huge buildings for miles and miles, but now unoccupied because residents have fled. And they, on the road, you have Ukrainian tanks on one side. Some distance away, you have the Russian tanks that are burnt and lying on the road. Now, the Ukrainian officers told us that they permitted the Russian tanks to come in. It was almost as if they were laying an ambush for them. When the initial few tanks came in, the first 5 tanks were targeted and the others then actually retreated. 5 tanks were destroyed, but their apprehension at this point of time is more tanks will come in later tonight or early tomorrow morning. It may well be preceded by either artillery or rocket or missile fire, or maybe air-to-ground missiles being fired by Russian fighter jets. We do not know, but that is the apprehension, given those were the tactics adopted by the Russians in Kharkiv and in Odessa and in several other pockets before the Russian forces reached the outskirts of Kyiv. And that is the tension, that the Russian forces are virtually at the gates and probing to come inside. How long will the Ukrainian forces be able to withstand this assault is the big question. While they say they will, it remains to be seen how long.
So next few hours, very crucial for that final assault as is being considered by Russia. I request you to stay on, Gaurav, if possible, because Geeta Mohan also joins us. Geeta, what is happening at the diplomacy level, or as Zelensky says, I've been assured of fighter jets by other countries. We're looking at world support. The Russian troops are there. They're almost at the border of the Kyiv city. They've managed to take control of several other cities. What is it looking like for Zelensky right now in the next few hours?
Well, Pooja, it's looking pretty difficult because Turkey failed as a mediator to negotiate an understanding between Russia and Ukraine. So the foreign ministers level talks that took place in Turkey in Antalya, a trilateral meeting with the Turkish foreign minister mediating the two sides, was inconclusive. There was no outcome. Because in many ways than one, Puja, given the strength and the advantage Russia has, they are pushing the envelope. They are insisting now that Ukraine also recognize Crimea, Donetsk, and Luhansk, the two new republics announced unilaterally by Russia, as separate independent states. And if that were to happen, and Crimea is part of Russia. So if that were to happen, then Zelensky loses all political clout with him. So a lot is at stake. Zelensky, and no compromise that the two sides have arrived upon, and not even on the humanitarian corridor. So while they're working on ensuring that cities like Mariupol, which saw the maternity hospital attacked, at least has a way out of Mariupol, there is no certainty on the humanitarian corridor, and that's what Kuleba, the foreign minister of Ukraine, said, that there were no assurances on that front. While some cities were given certain assurances, Putin's diktat or directive is quite clear that irrespective of what level of negotiations where they're taking place, there is going to be no ceasefire across Ukraine. It could only be city-specific, and also NATO and the West not coming to Ukraine's rescue, not even announcing a no-fly zone. Of course, that would mean escalation for NATO, and NATO does not want to get involved. That was very clear from the NATO chief. So right now, position very difficult, like Gaurav said, for Ukraine. And the Russians are just in the outskirts of Kyiv, capital city. They're already in the Kyiv region.
Geeta, Gaurav, you please stay safe, and thank you for getting us these ground reports and constantly updating us. I will let you go for now, but of course I'll come back to you shortly. And the first thing in morning, as our continuous coverage on Ukraine will be on. And remember, this is just a matter of hours, very close to Kyiv, and from both sides possibly, the Russian troops are ready for the final assault in Ukraine. Remember, this is a continuous coverage, and we will come back to it. We've already been online and ensuring that our coverage continues, but we stay with these visuals when we then also return to our elections, and after Uttar Pradesh, how it was the state of Punjab that has created victory and history.